Muy buenos. How's everybody doing? Started talking in Spanish. No, 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 no. It's the American audience, Oscar Blue. What's going on with you, man? How's everybody doing? God bless everybody that is watching. God bless our country of Mexico, our city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. Thank you so much for joining in on this morning on Sunday, 11 a.m. We had a show pending on Friday. We had something of emergency with extended family. So, that was the reason why I could not attend on a Friday live show for all of you guys. As you know, we are doing we're doing our shows for 7 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 in the morning, Spanish, 4 o'clock in the evening every day, English, West Coast time, both of them West Coast time. So let's get right into it, people. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining in. As the year continues and the year starts, we already know that the influx and the phenomenon of caravans will always come. Last year, 2021, we did, I think, a really extended and really meticulous and also hardworking coverage of the migrant caravans in the part of Tapachula in the south border that connects to Guatemala in our country of Mexico. We did almost 7 trips to the south border of our country, doing a extensive coverage of caravans after caravans after caravans. It was not out of sight and out of thought that possibly there was going to be another caravan coming on this incoming year of 2022. And we know we have been in contact with friends that they're journalists in Honduras and also foreign journalists that they are located in Honduras. And they were telling us, no, there's not a lot of movement. There's small groups of 100, 150 people, 200 people at the max. Yesterday, a group of 200, almost 200 individuals left San Pedro Sula, the Central Plaza, Metropolitan Plaza of Honduras. They left on this small, really small caravan. And it's a group of 150 to close to 200 people. As they left, the idea was for them to walk all the way from San Pedro Sula. That is around 2 hours by vehicle, San Pedro Sula, all the way to the borders of Corinto. Corinto is the border that connects to Guatemala. This in vehicle is around 2 hours. Walking is around 4 to 5 hours. So they arrived to the border of Corinto and they thought that they were going to be let in. Oh, surprise! The government of Guatemala, again, for the second time, putting the example not only to Mexico, but putting to the example the government of Guatemala to the United States of America. The government of Guatemala has detained and stopped this group and has already dismantled this small group again. Just for you to remember, back in 2021, when Joe Biden became president of the United States of America, a gigantic caravan started as soon as he became president. It was 9,000 people. And the ones who dismantled that enormous caravan of 9,000 was the National Guard of Guatemala. They were the ones that implemented the secure factors, the secure points, and ultimately the dismantlation of slowly, digressing and slowly disappearing the caravan by moments and also ultimately by little groups. This time, again, the government of Guatemala releases a statement. And I will read this statement that it was passed to me by international journalist and photographer Jose Torres, as this were the statements before the caravan started. They said authorities from Honduras at 8:48 a.m. they reported 110 people that they were around the Central and Metropolitan Plaza. The majority of the people were from Nicaragua, but also there were people from Honduras, and they were in that group, women and children. The Guatemala government sent authorities to the border of Corinto, and they already gave a statement. The Institute National Immigration of Guatemala and also the Civil Police of Guatemala gave a statement saying, we are not going to let nobody pass our border. We are right now in a contingency of the new spread of this new virus, a new variant named Omicron. We are for the protection of the citizens and the protection of the migrants for them to not get infected and for another spread to continue. Also, and another border that his name is Agua Caliente. This border around 12:30 p.m. They released a statement saying that the head chief of defense and the delegates of the personnel of the Institute National Immigration had a meeting, and they all came together to say, we are not going to allow no influx of migrants into our country of Guatemala. Again, the country of Guatemala doing the job for the borders of Mexico and doing the job for the borders of the United States of America. The National Guard of Guatemala has been practically the only National Guard who has demonstrated profoundly and has demonstrated strongly that they will, they will accept the orders and they will do as they are told. If they say, in Mexico is different. I will tell you before I put the images in the video. I will tell you in Mexico, when the National Guard and the Institute National Immigration goes with the caravan, they try to negotiate. In the United States of America, they don't negotiate. They let them in and they process them. That's the difference between two governments. In Guatemala, there's no negotiation. There's no, I will let you in and I will let you process you. In Guatemala, it is no. And when they say no, it is you better back up because we are saying no. These are the images as they were coming in. This is the image that is particularly in our live feed, and it's the image that it was provided by several journalists in Guatemala. And this is an image that I wanted to put for all of you guys. This is the small group. This is the small group right here. And this is how the Institute National Immigration was awaiting for them. Of course, they awaited and they tried to negotiate and they tried to say, you know what, we want in, we want in, we want in, we want to go in, we want to go in. Ultimately, the borders were secure. The Guatemala government is not going to let them in. And I have an update for you. It's already been dismantled, the caravan, and we have images of that also in a video. This also, it is the images of the border of Corinto as the military is there working with the civil police. You see the civil police wearing the SWAT gear, and also you see the Marine of the Guatemala government. For everybody that is watching, how's everybody doing? Good morning to everybody. Buy Me a Coffee is on the top link. If you guys like to contribute to our travel fund, we are going to be traveling soon to Central America. Hopefully to Central America, we're going to be traveling soon. So Buy Me a Coffee is on the top link. So thank you. Thank you. Your support is vital and it's so important so we can continue exposing the lies and exposing the fake news media and exposing what the reality and the truth of our border. So this is an image of them preparing. This is what happened late at night. Ultimately, there was going to be a confrontation. It was going to come because there's always a confrontation due to the fact that they don't let the migrants pass. So this was the confrontation. The strategy has always been the same. Try to contain them as they were throwing projectiles and rocks. And I have been in these kind of confrontations before. You're actually going to see in this video there, objects are being thrown. And the one that is recording is watching how objects are passing by the whole place. Look at that object. It landed on this guy. As you see that object coming in, look at that. I will pause when it's coming. Look at that. You see that right there. I don't know what that is, but that is how confrontations, when I have seen multiple of these and I have been in the middle of these, it is sad to see. And really, it is sad to see these kind of confrontations because there's kids in there, there's families, there's women, and there's vulnerable people in there. But it's sad to see that this military age men, that they are particularly going in the front and confronting the National Guard. They do not care about the kids that they're behind it, or they do not care about the women that they're in the middle of this confrontation. So you see these kind of objects flying all over the place. Hey, give it a like to this video before I keep going. Give it a like to this video on YouTube and Facebook. And also we're live in Getter and we're live at Twitter. So hello to everybody. So this is the video that it was provided for us. Look at that object right there flying. So there's a confrontation. As the confrontation continued, let me put another video right here before I continue. Before I continue, let me put another video right here that it was provided also. And it is ultimately almost the same, but it's with another view. So this happened late at night yesterday. It happened late at night yesterday as they were told, you're not going to pass. You are not going to pass. We're not letting you pass. And ultimately, it did not sit well with the small group of migrants that it was 150, between 150 and 200 migrants that they were particularly detained. And this was the next. National Guard officials containing the small group and the roads over there in South America, particularly the roads in South America and also in the last parts of Mexico, that is Tapachula, the border of Ciudad Hidalgo, Talisman, entering Guatemala. The roads are really small. It is just one going, north and the other one going south. And it's really small. So that's why they have this strategy of just detaining a small group and then containing that small group, taking them and detain as detainees, and then they go again and then detain and they decrease every amount of the caravan. So that's how they do. Right here, they're just containing the caravan. As objects are starting to fly all over the place. And they're saying, push, push, push. There's women right there. National Guard officials that they're women. As they are pushing small, as you see the National Guard of Guatemala moving forward and pushing them all the way to the back. Projectiles are starting to fly all over the place. They start to take cover because they know that they're throwing now the projectiles. And this is when you have to, as a journalist, I learned this the hard way because a rock almost hit my face in one of these confrontations in the second caravan that I did coverage. And the journalist screamed to me and said, Oscar, Blue, do not look at the migrants. Do not look at the National Guard. Look at the migrants because the rocks are coming from that way. So you have to look particularly where the rocks are coming from so you can understand. Don't look at how the National Guard is acting. They're doing their job. So a lot of projectiles start flying at this particular moment. Rocks and all kinds of artifacts. So this is what happened late at night yesterday. So what is the situation today? As you know, the Guatemala government, it is containing now this actual, influx, small influx that occurred yesterday. Today in the morning, we wake up to this. We wake up to the statements that it were released. That they were released by the Guatemala government. And these are the images of them getting them on a bus. Statements are being released by also journalist Jose Torres as he sent me these images, and it says, this is an update. Today at 10:50 a.m., time of Guatemala. The majority of the people, they actually access and they comply that they need to return back to Honduras. And also that they did not have the proper documentation and also the proper paperwork to enter Guatemala. Also, they did not have the sanitary documents and also the negative COVID test that they're asking now as a procedure for you to migrate into whatever country. Also, an update this is in the border of Corinto where the confrontation was taken. The update from the other border, that is Agua Caliente, they're saying that they have the presence of the National Civil Police. Also, they have the presence of the military, and also they have the presence of the Institute National Immigration of Guatemala, and they had returned back only 6 people till now. So Guatemala has the situation under control. They have the situation under control. The National Guard of Guatemala doing the job. This is an image of them going inside the bus so they can return them back into the border of close to San Pedro Sula in Honduras. This is the migrants getting into the bus as they already, understood that there's not going to be no access whatsoever into the country of Honduras. The sad thing about it is the only thing that I can tell you is the confrontations, because there's a lot of women and children in the middle of it. And there's confrontations where you see a lot of the children crying, and it's really sad to see it. It's really sad to see it. This is a video that it was provided to us of of them sitting on the sidewalk waiting to be processed in the part of Guatemala, as they are sitting right there, a small amount of group of people sitting right there with the ambulances as they're taking care of them. That is the Red Cross. They're taking care of them if there are injuries, if they need some kind of water, if they need some kind of attendance for them to be taken care of before they return them back into their country. So this is an update for people that they're saying there's a lot of false information going out there that they're saying about a big, gigantic caravan, that it was coming, that it was thousands of people that they were coming. It is not thousands of people. It was around 150 to 200 people that they were in this small confrontation between the government of Guatemala and the migrants, the National Guard of Guatemala and the migrants. It was a small group of people that left the Metropolitan Plaza, the central Metropolitan Plaza in San Pedro Sula, in the middle of the plaza. So this is vital information for every single one of you. The first small group of people, that I won't even call it a caravan. It's a small group of people of around 150. There's bigger groups that they arrive into the United States. There's bigger groups, thousands of groups that they arrive to the United States. This was a small group of people that they were, migrating, and they were trying to ask to let them pass. But sadly, they do not provide the paperwork as a negative COVID test. And another thing that I wanted to bring up due to this factor is that this is huge, because a lot of the people do not understand how serious this is and the measures that now the Mexican government is taking. The Mexican government right now, it is asking the Interpol to interfere in Mexico. So the Interpol right now, it is actually operating in the south border of Mexico. The Interpol, it is operating in the south border of Mexico. This is huge. Why? Because the government of Mexico has asked the Interpol to interfere now, because they don't know who is coming in the country and who is not. This article was released by Aristegui Noticias. And it says right here, the Interpol participates in immigrant operations in Mexico. As part of their homework during the 2021, there were 13,663 visits of verification with 23,574 inspections in the national territory. This tells you that the Institute National of Immigration and the authorities of Mexico are doing this. It says the article was released on the 12th of January of 2022 to basically see and understand what kind of foreigners they're coming in, due to the fact that there has been a lot of speculation that migrants from Russia are coming in, migrants from Bangladesh are coming in, migrants from the Middle East, and some of them, they have this possible bad record of being a part of a terrorist organization. So due to that factor, the Interpol has interfered now, and they are working with the Institute National of Immigration in Mexico. That is what is actually happening right here. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. It is unbelievable what happens continuously in the south borders, it's always incredible to see, you know, and I said incredible, not in a fact, in a way that you say, oh my God, that's amazing. No, incredible in a way to see, you know, this open border agenda continuing. That is, it's a broken system. The globalist compact of immigration of the United Nations is a broken system that is only providing people to suffer. That is, a lot of people are dying, migrating, and exiting from their country. It is something that is really sad. And it is being done, sadly, by these globalists, by these elite, by the irresponsibility of these leaders and dictators. That they think that a migration, relentless, a migration will be a good idea. And that is the most incredible thing about this. So buy me a coffee is on the top link. Thank you so much. Somebody donated a coffee. Thank you so much. Thank you for our travel fund. Look at this video. And I'm talking about dictators. And I'm talking about people that they don't know what the hell is going on with immigration. And you will see right here at this video that I will share right here. Who's this guy? By the way, people don't know who this guy is. This video was in 2017. That is Joseph Biden right there in the middle. On the right-hand side, on his left side, but my right-hand side, as I'm seeing the screen right here, is Alejandro Mayorkas. It is the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security right now. He was not that head chief of the Department of Homeland Security. Oh, sorry, it was in 2015. 2015. Thank you. 2015. 2015. Thank you. Sorry about the year. 2015. This video was in 2015. Joe Biden was vice president at that time. Remember that in 2015, Barack Obama had already signed the United States to the Global Compact of Migration. And it had it ready for Hillary Clinton to continue with it. Look at what I'm saying right now. What I just told you about this relentless and this open border agenda that provides a lot of human trafficking, a lot of people suffer, a lot of people die. And it is because of statements like this. And this clip was provided by my producer. That is a huge clip. This is a huge clip. So kudos and, you know, thank you to my producer. But look at this clip. What he says about not only what he thinks about him and how sarcastic this is, that Alejandro Mayorkas, ironical, Alejandro Mayorkas is on the side of him. Now the head chief of his administration of the Department of Homeland Security. But the thing is what he says about relentless migration, but the most important thing, what he says about the white Caucasian population becoming a minority, and he's okay with that. This is words coming out of his mouth. This is an incredible clip. Incredible clip about it. Look at this.
Communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of: an unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. Muslim communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities.
I will repeat it again for you guys to understand how big this video is. Look, hear this guy out.
And the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of: an unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing. The Muslim community.
That's not a bad thing, he says. That's not a bad thing. The most important thing right here, I don't want to get into the race thing, the replacement theory, because that's another topic. This Joe Biden said this in 2015. I will play it again. I will play it again for the last time for people that are joining in. How's everybody doing? God bless everybody that is watching. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. Hear this out. Hear this video out. This is an incredible video. But the most important thing about this is that he says unrelentless migration. What this tells you is that this open border agenda, it is his agenda. It is Barack Obama's agenda. And that what doesn't make you think that he is in the global compact of migration, because what is happening right now to the U.S. is exactly this.
Muslim communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of. An unrelenting stream of immigration, nonstop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. In communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop. As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of. An unrelenting stream of immigration.
Wow.
Nonstop.
Holy cow.
Nonstop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America. Absolute minority. Fewer than 50% of the people in America from then and on will be white European stock. That's not a bad thing.
Holy cow, man. Oh my God. Where were these clips, man? When, oh my God, these clips are so good. But now you understand when you're hearing this guy speak like this, when you're hearing this guy particularly direct himself to his population and say an unrelentless migration, unrelentless migration. It tells you that the open border agenda, it is a fact. It is a fact. The open border agenda, it is a fact in the Biden administration, and Biden wants that. He was planning it since 2015 when he was vice president. What makes you think that now that he's president, he's not going to continue with that? It doesn't matter the people that they're dying on their way from the Darien Gap. It doesn't matter what people that they're dying when they're migrating to the Mediterranean Sea. The risk that a lot of people are going, the dangers that people are going through trafficking, rapes, trafficking of children. It does not even matter that. What matters is what this bozo is saying. And this bozo is saying, you know what? An unrelentless migration. Open it up. I don't care what happens to Mexico. I don't care what happens to Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador. The hell with it. I don't care what happens to Bolivia, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, I don't care what happens to none of them. I really don't care. What I want is unrelentless migration. This is his words. I don't put attention to me. This is his words. Look what he says right here.
Muslim communities, but African communities, Asian communities, Hispanic communities, and the wave still continues. It's not going to stop, nor should we want it to stop.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, it's one of the things I think we can be most proud of, an unrelenting stream of immigration. Proud of an unrelenting stream of immigration. Most proud of an unrelenting stream of immigration. Proud of an unrelenting stream of immigration.
An unrelenting stream of immigration. I'm not saying it. He's saying it. An unrelenting stream of immigration. An unrelenting stream of immigration. And then the last thing that he says, the white Caucasian population will be a minority. I don't want to get into that. That's another topic. Huge, large topic. But the way that he says, it's okay with it. You know, it's okay that everybody, I don't understand this guy, man. The most amazing thing is that this guy that you're watching right here on the screen, he doesn't care what happens to Mexico, to our country, with an unrelentless stream of immigration. He doesn't care what happens to the migrants themselves as they're suffering, walking for miles and miles and miles. He doesn't care about that. His words, he doesn't care about the unrelentless stream of immigration, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, the triangle of Central America. He doesn't care about the unrelentless stream of immigration in Haiti, as people are migrating through 9 countries to get all the way to Mexico. He doesn't care about the unrelentless stream of immigration of Venezuelans going through the Darien Gap, the most dangerous place, one of the second most dangerous places in the world for a person to migrate. He does not care about the unrelentless stream of immigration effects, the secondary effects, that those are the most important ones, the trafficking, the abuse towards women. He does not care about that. Instead of fixing the problem in their own countries, instead of making sure that the money is being well invested, he does not care about that. He cares about an unrelentless stream of immigration. If this would have been stopped, you would have Hillary Clinton in president as the 45th. For God's sake, oh my God. Don't ever let me say that again. But if that would have happened, imagine the unrelentless stream of immigration that would have continued. Holy cow. Tomorrow, I will do a show about one of the only presidents that is doing something with the money that the United States of America it is sending to. This president, he is young. He is full of energy, and he wants to change the world with being a first-class world country. Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, has taken all the money of the United States of America that he is spending, that they're sending him, and invested on his own people, on security, on jobs, on keeping their people safe. But the most important thing about what Nayib Bukele is doing with the money, it is teaching his people how to farm. How incredible is that? He's teaching his people how to farm, how to be dependent on themselves, how to grow things. Let's start from the start. Let's go back to basics. And I will show that this bozo right here of a president did when Nayib Bukele went to the White House in 2021 to talk to this bozo. This guy, nobody came down and attended the president of El Salvador because the president of El Salvador, he is a fan of Donald Trump. So this guy said, I don't want to talk to him. No, he's a fan of Donald Trump, and he's a capitalist guy. He's a first America, first El Salvador kind of guy. No, we don't talk to those kind of narcissistic fascist people. So he denied the access to Nayib Bukele. Nayib Bukele went to the White House to try to negotiate with the president of the United States. Look, I want to use your money for profit. Let's work together. Let's trade. We don't want aid. We want trade. Let's trade, please. He denied that access. And right now, people, the only president in the continent of America who is doing things for his country is the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Have you seen caravans leaving out of El Salvador lately? Question mark. No caravans leaving El Salvador right now. The crime has gone down almost 60% in El Salvador. More than 60%. Nayib Bukele has cleaned the prisons. In their prisons, it was awful. It was disgusting. He put clean prisons for the prisoners, educational programs for the prisoners, and also they have an hour that they can go to rec, and they are talking about Christ. They're educating them in Christ. How did a man like that, so young as Nayib Bukele, put an example to this bozo right here on how to take care of things? We will show tomorrow on our evening show what Nayib Bukele is doing as different as a president in a small country like El Salvador. Tucker Carlson interviewed Nayib Bukele. And I will find this clip for everybody to remember what Tucker Carlson said to Nayib Bukele. And it was a great interview because it tells you where Nayib Bukele was going with this. This is a 6-minute and 32-second interview. I will play this. The reason why I will play it is because I want you to understand. There's a commercial right here. Let me just get this commercial ad. There's ads. And I will play this interview. Where am I going with this? I'm going to you guys to understand how presidents are working their mind and how this guy, this is the imperialism. Joe Biden is an imperialistic president. He wants other countries to depend on America so they will have them on the leash. So I will have you control. I will not let you grow because you depend on me. So you depend on me. Nayib Bukele doesn't want that. He wants to depend on his own. He wants his own trade. He wants his own people. He wants his own future. This guy did not want that. This guy wanted the control of them. No, we need to control Mexico. We need to control Guatemala. We need to control Honduras. We need to control El Salvador. We need to control all these countries. We need to give them our aid. No, but they want trade, Mr. President. No. Give them our aid. That is what. That is why you don't let a country succeed. Be a first-class world country. That is why wars are done. That is why internal wars are done. That is why insecurity. That is why cartel comes into play. Because you depend on another country for aid. Hey, we need money, man, for security. Ask the U.S. and we can bring in capitalist business and we can. You depend on me. I will tell you when I can help you out, sir. Look at this video, and this is an old interview. I have played this interview multiple times, but I want you to understand where are we going to go on our next show. And it is so important that we understand how these young presidents think. A lot of people criticize Nayib Bukele because he's on Bitcoin, because he's this, because he's that. He's doing something for his country. He's not even my president. Remember, a lot of people were criticizing me because I was, admiring what Donald Trump was doing and criticizing the globalists and standing in front of the United Nations and saying to every single one of them, of the people of the United Nations, this is the way to migrate. There's a door. You are welcome. America stands for law. America stands for order. And now, people, what are you going to do? Criticize me because I am in favor of Nayib Bukele? Because he's the best Latin American president right now in the continent? He's the best president. There's no other president right now in the continent of America who's doing so much more for his country than this man. There's no other president. He is the only man that is doing for his people. He's investing on his people. He's teaching his people how to farm. How beautiful is that? Giving the value to the farmers, that they're the architects of the land. That's the most beautiful thing that I have heard, man. Listen to this interview, Tucker Carlson. This interview was back, and I believe it was 2021. But look what he says right here.
We just finished up a long and legitimately interesting conversation with the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. We talked to him about the immigration crisis from his perspective, which of course is different from our perspective. But the surprise was his perspective isn't that different. As he pointed out again and again in our conversation, the mass movement of poor, desperate people north in search of a better life isn't good for anyone. It hurts all countries involved, including his. Watch this. Mr. President, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tucker, for inviting me.
So there are an estimated 2 million Salvadorans living in the United States.
Maybe a little more.
Maybe more, and more coming now.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people have moved from this country to the U.S.?
Well, it's obvious. I mean, our country has failed to provide two basic things, which are the two main drivers of immigration, which is the lack of economic opportunity and the lack of security. Most people doesn't want to leave their country.
Right.
They like their culture, they like their food, they like their weather. I mean, it's their country. They have their family members here, their friends. Most people leave their country because of two main reasons. And those are the two main reasons. And if you add up the civil war we had in the 80s, well, that was the main driver at the beginning. And then you have people, that have cousins over there, and then the cousin says, "Oh, come here, and you'll get a job here." And there's relative security based on what you have over there and what you have here. And so those are the main drivers of immigration. That our country has failed to provide security and economic opportunity, so people leave.
But if the richest country in the world says, if you cross over the border, we will give you free healthcare, free education, all these benefits, that's a draw, isn't it?
Of course, it's an incentive. I mean, everything in life is pros and cons, right?
Yes.
So you have, for immigration, you have a con that probably you don't know the language, or you have the journey is a difficult one. You may die in the journey. But if in the end they will receive a lot of things, of course, the pros go up and the cons go down. So it depends. It's an incentive game here. And if, for example, if here in El Salvador we have better jobs and better security, it's less of an incentive. And you can see it in the numbers. We haven't changed the country 180 degrees in 2 years. In 1 year and 9 months, we have been in government, of course. But if you see the numbers 2 years ago, and you see the numbers now, immigration from El Salvador has gone down. And it's a couple of reasons, but one of the reasons is that we have improved security by 75%. I mean, the homicide rate has gone down by 75%, and the violent crimes have gone down by 75%. And economic opportunities are a little better than what they were before 2 years ago. And there's a little more hope here that the future is going to be better. So that lowers the numbers. That's why you have caravans of 10,000 people going out of Honduras. You don't have any caravans going out from El Salvador. But 2 years ago, El Salvador was bigger than Honduras in immigration. So you have incentives and drivers here, like I told you before, economic opportunities and security, and you have incentives over there. What you will find at the border, and what you will find inside, and with law enforcement over there.
Losing energetic, risk-taking people is obviously bad for your country. You want to keep people like that here. Do you resent the fact that the United States has offered all these incentives for people to leave your country and go there?
No, I've never resent that. But I just think that for a country, it's not profitable to get the people out. First, it's immoral. I mean, to provide for your people, right? That's the moral issue. But you also have an economic issue. If you send your hardworking people and your talented people and people that want to work and want to risk it just to go and work, you want to keep them here because those will be the drivers of your economy. You don't want them there so they could send a remittance, which would be a small portion of what they will earn and what they produce. You want them to produce here. But you're talking about problems that have been there, and not only in El Salvador, but in a lot of countries in Latin America for the last 4 decades. And this immigration thing is just feeding on dependency on immigration on the countries that drive it. So it's not good for the United States, and it's not good for El Salvador. The best thing for both of us is to keep our people here and to provide for our people right here in our country. And that's what people here want.
Yes.
So at the end, it's not, I won't resent it, of course, but I think that it's better if we can keep our people here. That's our job. And morally, that's the thing we have to do.
Explain quickly, if you would, what you just said is not good for the United States to become dependent on immigration. What do you mean by that?
No. Latin American countries, if you don't provide for your people economic opportunities, if your economy is doing bad, if your security is doing bad, people are gonna leave, and they're gonna go and try to find a rich country, right? They're not gonna leave for Guatemala, right? They're gonna try to go. They want to go to the United States. So that makes these countries dependent on immigration because what you become a net exporter of people. You're not exporting products or services. You're exporting people. So that makes your economy dependent on that, because then those people send money back to their home countries, which is not a good economic formula. But it makes the economies dependent on that. So when you keep these countries depending on that, the economy is like a vicious cycle. So it's bad for the United States because immigration will go up, and it's bad for our countries because people leaving the country will go up as well. So it's bad for both of us.
Smart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys get it, but I've been waiting in Mexico for something like that for, I don't know, since Colosio. Luis Donaldo Colosio, when I was 13, 14 years old, got murdered in our city of Tijuana. As horrible, and that was a president that was going to bring us fate. Colosio, Luis Donaldo Colosio, of the political party of PRI. I'm not for no political party, but Colosio was going to be one of the presidents that was going to bring that hope into Mexico. This president right here, Nayib Bukele, he's not my president. As I was giving props to President Trump when he was president, a lot of people were criticizing me. But right now, this is the president that is doing things for his people. And I'm so jealous, man, of presidents like this. I get so emotionally jealous in a good way, because I wish that our country of Mexico will have the thrive and will have the leader of that. When I hear him talk and when I hear him speak, I wish that I had that. I wish that I will not think that I need to migrate to somewhere that I can provide an economy for my family, for my son, security for our friends and colleagues to go out and exercise their job as journalists without being threatened to be killed. People looking every day at the park, dismember bodies and cartel wars continuously in our country of Mexico. Poverty, suffering continuously in Michoacán and Guerrero as drones are dropping C4 explosive into houses of farmers and really humble people. Our health department, critical and catastrophe. It is happening right now. It's dropping. We don't know how to take care of our own people. I wish I had that. The hell with it. The United States wish that they will have something like that right now. The United States people wish that they would have something like that right now. You will not see. I had an interview, and I will clip that interview for tomorrow, as I'm going to find that video. In one of the caravans that I was walking with, there was a man sitting down with his feet, and he had some kind of cream on the bottom of his feet. And his feet were cut and bleeding of all the walking that he was doing. I approached the man and with the camera, and I said, "Can I record?" And he said, "Yes." And I approached the man, and he's laying down on the floor. And I said, does it hurt?" And he said, "Yes." "Where are you from?" And he said, "El Salvador." And I said, "You're from El Salvador?" "Yes." "How's Nayib Bukele doing for you?" I thought that he was going to say, "Nayib Bukele is a horrible president. This is why I'm migrating." And I was going to not confront, but I was going to debate with him. He's doing this. He's doing this. How can you say that? But oh, surprise, his response to me was the most that shocked me. "So what are you doing over here?" He said, "Nayib Bukele is doing great. He's a great president. He's fixing our country little by little. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be as fast as we can, but he's doing something. Unfortunately, I live in a place where I don't have that access right now, and I have a special case of my behalf. This is the reason why I'm migrating. But Nayib Bukele is doing great for our country." And I was like, wow. Wow. Their own people are doing this right now. It is so important that we recognize where credit is due. As the past president of the United States of America was continuously for America First policy. Also, not only that, now Nayib Bukele for El Salvador is on a El Salvador First policy to fix his country, to boost the economy, to try to do something for his people, to create. Look what he says right there in that interview with Tucker Carlson. He loves his country. You can see it in his expression, and you can see it in his way of speaking. He loves his country. He says, "We have become a great exporter of people, not exporter of product." Why I want the good people of my country to leave when they can grow and make my country great and make El Salvador great. Why I want the good people, the talented people to leave to another country. Why? I want them to stay. Wow. You're like, it's so easy. It's 1 + 1 is 2. It's so easy. It's so easy. It's so mathematically easy to just see the formula to all these socialist, communist dictators. It is so easy to see the formula. It is so easy, but they don't want it to see it that way because there's political interest. There's always the money, the power, the I want to control, the imperialistic ideology, the globalists right now that they don't care about the working class. There's always that, the profit, the trafficking of children, the abuse, always the benefit that it overtakes the priorities of growing into being a first-class world country. Right now, as the continent of America, right now, the continent of America, lastly, I will say this. Hold on right here. I will put an image right now for you guys. As I'm going to put this image, I want everybody to understand how we are right now. And how do we look? And this is how bad it is right now. This is how bad it is. They are saying that the best economy right now and the most fluctuated economy right now, it is on the side of Panama when it comes to Latin American countries. The competition is rough. But I will tell you right now, this is a map of the continent of America. This is a map. And I will give an example. Let's go right now for the economies that they're suffering. Argentina is doing bad. Chile is doing bad. Brazil is doing bad. Paraguay is not growing. Uruguay stay right there. Bolivia, for God's sake, they just got out of the 12-year dictatorship of Evo Morales. Peru is doing and is climbing, but they wanted a socialist president. Ecuador is doing horrible right now with the pandemic. They were cremating people outside on their streets because they didn't have no resources. Colombia, the drug cartel continues. Venezuela, socialist and communist dictatorship with Nicolás Maduro. Panama, it is the only fluctuant economy that is growing. Costa Rica, is doing all right. Nicaragua, a lot of people are migrating from Nicaragua. Honduras, migrant caravans are coming out. Belize, nobody cares about them because nobody wants to trade with them. Sadly, they're a small country. Guatemala, look what is happening right now with the 166 migrants. That day, 56 of them died. Sadly, El Salvador is the only country that is doing, that it has a president that is doing something for his people. Mexico, what the hell is AMLO doing with us? More than 103,972 murders in his first 3 years of being a president. Becoming the continent's most violent and insecure president in history of our country. The United States don't even want to talk about Joe Biden. And Canada, for God's sake, Trudeau, a globalist president. Do we have leaders on this continent? I'm watching the map. As I am watching this map, do we actually have leaders on this continent that will provide leadership? If you want to talk to a person from Argentina, talk to them if they agree with their mandates. You want to talk to a person from Brazil? Just see what Bolsonaro is going through right now with all the changes and corruption. You want to talk to people from Chile? I have talked to people from Chile and friends of colleagues of journalists in Chile that they're suffering right now of the globalist agenda that they're using Chile as a platform for the globalists. You want to go a little bit up to Ecuador, Bolivia, Venezuela? You know what's happening to Venezuela? One of the most richest countries. Even President Trump said it yesterday. President Trump said yesterday, before 1996, Venezuela was one of the most richest countries in the world. What is going on right now with Venezuela? Suffering of food, suffering electricity, suffering of water, the essentials. That is what these communist agendas want to do. This is why the goods and all the food in your country of the United States, it is lacking because they want you to depend on the priority, on the necessities, on the main necessities to survive. Food, water, electricity. We take those away from them. There's no work. There's no life. They need to live. So we take that away from them and we make them depend on water. We make them depend on food. We make them depend on electricity. So when they come out, hey, I'm coming out and play. Hey, you need water, you need electricity, you need food. You don't need a car. You don't need go to work. You don't need, your privilege is to eat, to get water, and to get just electricity and gasoline. That is your privilege. I'm giving you that privilege to eat, to have food, to get water, to see electricity so your son can go to school, to have gasoline in your car. Do you know how many days Venezuela people have to wait to get gasoline in their cars? 2 weeks. Making a line for days to get gasoline. That is brought by Russia, is brought by Iran. How are we doing in the continent? I have said this before. The continent of America is under globalists and communists attacked. We are doing horrible in the continent of America. This is why I have said it before. We need to unite. They're destroying not only your country. The communists are not only destroying our country, but they're destroying human race. They're destroying human race. They're destroying humanity. You're seeing what's happening in the continent. Next thing you know, the United States is not going to have nobody to have their trade. The economy of the United States thrives on international trade. That is their number one economy fluctuant. The trade, exportation, importation. Next thing you know, if we continue like this, the United States is not going to have nobody to have trade for because they're going to have lack of food, lack of minerals, lack of everything. Understand this map, check this map, study. I just opened the Google and I just said el mapa del continente americano right there, the map of the continent of America. And just with an image, you will realize how messed up we are, how bad we are doing, where in the direction that we are going as humanity. Man, I want the United States to be great, Canada to be great, Mexico to be great, Venezuela, for God's sake, leave those people alone and let them be great. Nicaragua, Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Honduras, Panamá, Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, let them all be great. Why you have controlled economies? Let them all be great, man. All of them, they have their own minerals. All they have their own privileges. All the countries have their own beauty, their own customs, their own food, their own women, their own family values. Let them all be great. But we are under right now a communist and globalist attack, and only we have certain leaders on this continent that they only have the idea of God and provide an economy. And one of those leaders is Nayib Bukele. And look at his country, how small his country is. Look, El Salvador is a red dot right there. Look at his country, how small it is, and how big his heart and his mind is. Nayib Bukele, a small country, put an example to all of the above. All of the above. How in the hell is that possible? I have said this before I end this conversation. We are a lion that is put in the corner right now, and we don't understand that we are the lion. We are thinking that we're strong. We're thinking that we are the lion, but we are not, because they made us believe that we are afraid. So we are a lion from the outside. From an interior, we're a squirrel. And we think that we don't have power. We think that we don't have a voice, because these communists, what they're doing is taking away that power of freedom, power of voice, power of freedom of speech, the power of you being you. They see us from the outside. They're like, hey, watch out. That's a lion. No. And the inside, that person is thinking, I'm nothing. I'm nobody. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to go out because there's a mandate. I'm afraid that somebody's coughing because probably the Barian he has it and he's not wearing a mask. I'm afraid that this economy is going to go down. I'm afraid of the globalists. I'm afraid of the cartel activity. I'm afraid of freedom getting taken away from us. I'm afraid of everything. So I'm a lion dressed. I'm a lion from outside and I'm a squirrel from the inside. We're letting these people take over our freedom. We're letting these people take over our lives. And there's only leaders, small leaders in small countries, they're saying, they're standing tall and they're sitting down and saying, no, enough is enough. Exporting people, it is not the solution. Importing our product, it is the solution. Getting our product out from our country is the solution. Fixing our country is the solution. Creating better opportunities for the world, it is the solution. Thank you so much for joining in. An hour and 6 minutes going into this live feed. God bless everybody that is watching. I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News, correspondent for Real America's Voice News. Thank you so much. Buy me a coffee. It's on the top link if you guys like to contribute to our independent reporting and broadcasting and travel fund. We are going to be traveling soon, so thank you so much for all your contribution. It helps a lot as we are independent. We are people funded, so thank you so much. God bless every single one of you. Follow me at Getter, follow me at Facebook, follow me at YouTube, follow me at Twitter, follow me at Telegram as Oscar L. Blue. Also, you can follow me at Instagram as Oscar L. Blue Media and Oscar L. Blue Team. Follow my partner, Real Anthony Agüero, at all the platforms above as at Real Anthony Agüero. Follow Ben Berquam at Real America's Voice News and also Real America's Voice News. Download the app. Somebody's asking, how are you feeling? I'm feeling good. I'm all right. I'm good. Just get a little bit passionate right there sometimes. Thank you so much for everybody that is watching. God bless every single one of you. Have a beautiful Sunday. It was nice talking to you guys. Like we always say, people, peace and love. Because always your country's first. God bless.
Ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and yeah. Good thing, Sarah, this canyon right here.
It's absolutely incredible. I haven't been to Tijuana in a lot of years, and seeing how wide open it is. I mean, I don't know if you could turn the camera around and show everyone just how wide open it is. It's incredible.
Couple of questions. So. Ms. Rashida, what is your opinion on the massive child trafficking that is happening? Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best, basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! La Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.